value for a lot of great value offers on upcoming Guardians games. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful day for a baseball game. Guardians Tigers on Monday the 8th. 4 tickets for you. Caller 10, good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
The Alan Cox Show.
There's no news.
Putting the me in lamestream media.
A lot of nonsense and fluff and sensationalism.
On 100.7 WMMS.
$35192 to send me a text. If you're watching live at AlanCoxShow.com, thanks. So make sure you give a tip of the cap to Londa Lane Donda who's helping out back there for the final live show of the week. We will be out tomorrow. Saturday night here on The Buzzard, it will be the return of 2 hours to midnight. It is 120 minutes of nothing but metal. I'm your host, along with Corey Roddick and Pat Butler. And week to week, we throw in a bunch of stuff that we dig, requests that you guys send. We'll play local music from Adrift on River Styx and Replicas. Some new stuff, some classic stuff, but all of it metal. And anytime you want to submit a request or your own band, maybe a band you're not in but you really like locally, 2htm@wmms.com is the email. We post the playlist every week at WMMS.com. So 2 hours to midnight, Saturday at 10 o'clock on MMS. No metal on Buzzard Fest. Metal is, admittedly, a niche genre. You know, I've gotten messages from people who are mad that it's on so late. And I go, yeah, it's not going to be a prime time show. And that's, frankly, just fine with me. A heavy metal show is going to be a late night show. That's where it's supposed to be. It shouldn't be on when the sun is still out. But Buzzard Fest is August the 4th, returning after 23 years gone. And it's Incubus and Filter and Live and Bush and Winona Fighter and the Kaleidoscope Kid. And those tickets are on sale now. It's going to happen at Victory Park in North Ridgeville. Not looking forward to that traffic, by the way. Doing a little reconnaissance on that venue, and it's a lot of 2-lane roads around there. So, anywho, don't worry about that. Tickets are on sale at WMMS.com for Friday, August 4th, the return, triumphantly, of Buzzard Fest. Welshly Arms. How could I forget them? Great band from Cleveland, but it goes out and tours, and they're on the bill as well. So get your tickets, and we will all see you there. If you read, you know, I was reading the In-Flight magazine on our trip back from Sedona for spring break because I was just taking a break from the book that I was reading. I like to keep my mind mossy by going back and forth between something I'm really engrossed in and then something utterly ridiculous, hence the In-Flight magazine. And Delta Airlines are consistently at the top of customer satisfaction surveys, but the fundamentals of the airline industry are so god-awful that even they can't escape some occasional bad press. And there was a Delta plane that had to make an emergency landing after the leaky bathrooms jammed their controls and shut down the autopilot. Most commercial airline pilots will tell you that they're there for the ascent and the descent. They're there for the takeoff and landing. Once you get to your cruising altitude, flip a couple of switches, and you're kind of good to go. Water was leaking from plane bathrooms, and so it got into their controls. They had ice that had formed around their plane controls, and so they had to make an emergency landing. Now, do you tell the people that? You have to tell them something because they go, this isn't our destination, but we have to descend rapidly. This was a Prague to New York flight.
What's in between? An ocean.
Water.
Yeah.
Yeah. wastewater leaking from the bathrooms that then froze.
That's so gross.
That's
You know,
like a
there's
very
been,
bad design.
But also, you know, you've read these stories about like those giant pissbergs that'll fall out of the sky and onto someone's house. The giant frozen hunks of blue water. You know, at
I
30,
thought that was a myth.
I don't think so. I mean, way back in the day, I don't know. I think it might be a myth at how frequently it happens, but I think it has happened. I mean, I remember distinctly in the early 90s reading about a flight that was, I don't know what it was. I don't know what the route was, but there had been a crack that had formed in something, and so wastewater was getting out of it. And, you know, at 36,000 feet, it's very, very cold. And so obviously that all freezes. And I don't think it was a situation where they were worried about cabin decompression or anything. But I think something like that has happened where like giant frozen blue water from a plane has fallen to the ground.
So
But
it
this
makes me
jammed
think
up all
of,
their controls.
What's the David Spade movie?
Joe
Joe
Dirt.
Joe Dirt, yeah, because he finds a
Hey, meteor.
Yeah, he's eating French fries. dipping the
Husker
ketchup
do's,
on it.
Husker don'ts.
Yeah.
Bunch of space crap.
Peanut right there. That's a dead giveaway.
Dude, I'm fed up with traveling. I
By the way, our own Bill, did you see that our own Mary Santora is like part of the 1% elite
I know.
now?
What did I do? How am I
All
part
of
of
a
the 1%?
sudden, she's part of the elite. She's
are you
complaining
talking
about her treatment in the club,
Oh,
at
I
the
was
airport.
so
Yes, tell us the
She's
story.
like,
'Cause
this dumb bitch
That's
doesn't
how
know
I
my
felt.
points.
No. Okay, so preamble. I went on a Twitter rant this morning about people who travel together and don't book seats together and then expect everyone to move for them. If you're one of these people, you can just jump into the lake. I hate you. 6 o'clock in the morning, this family is seated in 3 different rows, and then they all just sat in the same row. So 3 times people came to their seat and there's someone in it. And the lady's like, yeah, well, this is my son and my husband. And they're like, okay, this is my seat. She's like, well, we're supposed to be up in like 4, can you just move? And I'm like, this happened 3 times. I was so aggravated, 6 in the morning. So I'm already in a bad mood.
But why? People either move or don't. Why was it being asked repeatedly?
Because all 3 of them were not in the correct seats. They just picked a row and sat in it together. And then 3 people came to what their assigned seat was, and the lady was like, oh, just move. Just go take our seat. We're all traveling together. But they didn't book together. Do you get what I'm saying?
yeah, that's annoying.
That's
That's annoying.
so
I'm with you on
annoying.
So
that.
you already have a full head of steam.
I am so
By the
aggravated.
time you get to the Diplomats Club.
I am so mad. So I go into the United Club because I had a 2.5-hour layover. So
And this is where?
Chicago.
Yeah.
Now-
At O'Hare.
At O'Hare.
Yeah.
I have a Amex Platinum business card, which gets me lounge access to like thousands of airport lounges. The thing that sucks is
Oh, good for
I know.
you.
the only airport that I don't have access at, or one of very few, is Chicago. And with United, you're flying into Chicago constantly. You're
Why don't you fly
always
into Midway?
Well, they always route you through O'Hare. That's just where their biggest hub is. That's closest to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in, I'm like, I'll just buy a pass just for today. So I walk in.
What do
and
you get from that pass, and how much is a pass?
It's $59 a pass. You get a full buffet of food. So they had like scrambled eggs, bacon,
This
sausage.
was in the morning.
Yes, potatoes, all breakfast foods, different pastries, oatmeal, overnight oats. Like it's a full giant buffet of food. And
Chicago
then
hot
it's
dogs?
not for breakfast, maybe for dinner. I don't know. But then they have like espresso machines, a full bar. All the alcohol's free if you drink. All the coffee's free. Like everything's
Oh, they have
free.
alcohol in the morning, but not hot dogs in the
Listen,
morning.
you take it up
I
with
see
them.
what's going on.
Email United because I
What
did
kind
today.
of club is this?
Well, so I go in, I hand the lady, I said, I just want to buy a one-time pass. I hand the lady my United credit card, and she types in my information. She goes, oh, well, you're Premier Gold status. I said, yeah. And she goes, why don't you have a United Club membership? And I said, because I have a business account that I get club membership.
This is your LLC.
Yes. I said, I have a business card that I get membership everywhere. And she goes, well, what card is it? And I'm already aggravated with the people who screwed up the flight. So now I'm like, just swipe my card and let me in this goddamn lounge.
Wow, Bill.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
She's all hoity now in the United Club.
So she's trying to be helpful.
No, she's not.
Boy.
Wait. Because
Have
she
you
goes,
ever had one of these cards? Have you ever had access to like a club like that? I
No,
haven't,
I
boy.
just sit with the people at my gate.
I do
Vermin?
too. Vermin.
So
If you ever see Mary at the terminal while you're waiting for a flight, just remember, now our listeners know this feeling all too well because she's publicly stated that she hates you.
They know. There's no confusion
Right.
here.
But I mean, people who might be coming in and out, stragglers, right? If you find yourself across from Mary Santora at the airport, no matter where you're listening.
Don't even look at me.
Don't. For your own good. You don't know what kind of day she's had. You don't know that she has gotten, she's not having the alcohol, but maybe they ran out of, clearly at this lounge, they ran out of hot dogs before she got there.
I was very upset at the lack of hot dogs
You are
for
vermin.
breakfast.
Vermin.
I just buy an $8 bagel and then sit at my gate. That's how I do things.
Well, on a 2.5-hour layover, it's nice to have like a quieter place to be with a bunch of food and a private bathroom. And
You
all
are a
that.
parasitic worm to Mary Santora.
100%.
That's right.
Do not make eye contact
You
with
couldn't
me.
be more despicable.
So I told
You
the
are
lady.
a blemish on society.
She goes, what kind of business credit card do you have? And she's trying to sell me. She's doing her job because she's like, we have the United business credit card. I said, I understand. I have an Amex Platinum. I just get a lot of perks with it. I can get into the Centurion lounges. You guys don't have a Centurion lounge here. This is the only airport I don't have lounge access. And she goes, well, but you fly United. And I said, yes. And she goes, well, you can't get into Centurion lounges if you fly United. I said, that's incorrect. I have the Amex Platinum, and you just have to be an Amex member. And she goes, no, that's wrong. You cannot. You have to fly American in order to get into those lounges. And I was like, I was just in Denver on Sunday in the Centurion Lounge flying United. So now I'm getting aggravated because I'm like, you don't have this credit card. You don't know what you're talking about. And just let me in the lounge. I'm trying to pay you money. What are you doing? And she goes, I think you have your clubs mixed up. Like she thought that I didn't know where I was.
How long before you called her vermin?
I didn't call her vermin. I said, listen, I understand that you're just trying to get me to sign up for the credit card. Can you please just let me into this lounge? And she swiped my card and she goes, just go. And like flipped her hand, like just go.
Both of you guys were on one.
Well, screw you, dude. Don't sit here and tell me that I don't know what my credit card gets me. Like, it's rude for you to sit there and assume that I don't know what I'm talking about when in reality, you're the one who doesn't know what you're talking about. So I got right on friggin' United and I sent an email. I said, hey, I had a very unpleasant experience today. Because you know what this dumb bitch did about a half hour later? I ate my food, put my feet up, go to relax, maybe take a nap because I have a 2.5 hour layover. She comes over to me, taps my foot and goes, ma'am, you can't lay down here.
You're making yourself at home in the fancy lounge.
I was so
You
mad.
know where they
You
don't
can
do
take-
that?
you
At
can-
the gate.
There
Yeah,
are
that's
people,
right.
No, there are people
There's people
sleeping
just wearing
everywhere.
shorts and cowboy boots at the gate. They couldn't give a fat
There's
frog's
people
ass.
sleeping everywhere in the United
You
Lounge.
can take the girl
But
out
you-
of Berea, but you can't take the Berea out of
But
the
you
girl.
made an
There
enemy.
are people sleeping everywhere. People have their
Well,
feet
then why
up.
you?
People are, because her and I got into it on the way in. So she comes
But
up.
if she's telling you and not telling other people,
I swear on my life, I was like,
Because
go
she was
wake
a
up that man.
one-time member in there. She's not like one of the official members. She just paid her way in.
ma'am, I'm
So
sorry,
she's
feet
so
on the
mad.
furniture is for regular card-holding lounge members, not just your Cedar Point day pass.
Yeah,
all
but
right?
were the other people sleeping? Did they have their feet up on the furniture?
Yes,
Okay.
they had their feet up. I was so done with
Thought
this
you were
lady.
a hobo, like a homeless person.
Well, and I was like, you know what? And I had to sit there for a second because she like tapped my foot. Ma'am, you can't lay here.
Did you pretend like you were asleep?
I was asleep.
Oh.
And I woke up and I was like, excuse me? She goes, you can't lay down. You
Was
can
this
sit up.
How old was this woman?
She's probably mid-50s, early 60s.
Okay.
She's had it.
Screw you, dude.
She's had it.
This is your job. What are you doing? So she comes over, she taps me on my foot. She goes, you can't lay down here. I said, excuse me? She goes, you can't sleep like that. I said, that guy's sleeping. And I pointed to another guy who was sitting in a chair. She goes, yes, but he's sleeping sitting up. And I was like, are you kidding
Were
me
you
right
in
now?
full recline?
I was like seated with my back against like parallel to the wall. Like my legs were up parallel to the wall. So my back was against like the cushion and then my feet were up on a bench.
You
But
think
it's a
she could-
one-person bench.
You think she could smell on you that you were an interloper?
I don't care what she could smell on me. I was so aggravated with her. So now I'm real pissed because I've been up since 4. I had Miss Get Out of My Seat lady on the early flight bossing people around. So then I was so mad at the lady on the early flight I couldn't sleep. So then now I've been up since 4. Now I'm mad at the United lady because she's giving me crap and not giving anybody else crap where there's people sleeping all over the place. Some lady's got her baby on the floor. You're not yelling at her. I was.
Hey,
dude,
why
I
don't
was
you
That
yell
baby
at-
was a member.
Why don't you yell at that baby on
That
the
baby
floor?
had the United credit card.
I have the United credit card. That's what made me so
you
mad.
had the Amex one.
No, I have a United credit card. That's why she asked me why I wasn't a full-time member. She goes, you have the Premier Gold status and you have the United credit card. Why aren't you a club member? And I was like,
she
first
was
of all, none of
she
your
was
business.
berating you for not having the benefits that you should have had.
She thought she was gonna get a commission off it.
I know she did, but here's my point.
Oh,
Why
is that
in
true?
the-
She's trying to sign you
Yeah,
up.
she's
I
trying to
see.
sign me up for the credit card. Now for the lounge access. It's like it's $600, $680 a year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And now what I
If you're
sent
there
in
all
my
the time sounds like it's worth it.
what I sent in my email to United Corporate was, hey, I've actually been on the fence about a United Club membership for a while now, and the way that I was treated today has completely changed my mind. This person is rude.
What
They're
was her
assuming
name?
I didn't get it.
What?
I didn't get
You
it.
fire
I
off
was
a
so
strongly
mad.
worded letter and you don't get her name. I assume she had a name tag.
Yes, but I was not looking at her name tag. I was looking at her stupid bitch face.
Wow.
I was so mad at this woman. And here's the thing is that when she came and woke me up, it was the time where I was like, do I make a scene in this airport? Like, that's legitimately where I was. I was so tired. I have been
Listen,
in...
you'll do some numbers if you I mean,
I wanna
comedian
go viral.
freaks out at United Lounge. That'll put you out there.
Dude, I have been in 4 different states. I've taken 8 flights in 6 days. I am exhausted. I understand that no one asked me to travel as much as I do.
It's not her fault.
And I understand that. But as a customer service representative, maybe don't pick fights with people. How about that? You don't know what kind of day people are having. Traveling is stressful enough. You're making it worse.
You don't know what kind of day she was having.
I don't care at this
She was
point.
just trying to do her job.
She
the
wasn't
sell
just
you
trying
thing.
to do her job.
At first she was. She was trying to sell
mean-
you on the thing, which
And
is
I get
what
that. And I
you're
said,
supposed to
hey, I'm not interested. Please
Wait,
swipe
so
my credit
she
card.
didn't care what kind of day you were having and you're angry. You don't know what kind of day she was having and you don't care.
My point is, I'm not
Seems
in
to
a
be
position of
you're-
customer service.
I mean,
If you're trying to get something out of me, the way to do it is not by saying, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, ma'am. You're wrong. Now buy something from me.
the customer is always right. You
No,
should have
I
told her
am
that.
right in
you
this
should
scenario.
have told her that.
And if I were wrong, I'd have been like, you know
Ma'am?
what? You're right. I forgot that I always fly American every time I use a Centurion Lounge Pass. You're right. You probably know more than I do. I'm still very aggravated with this woman.
You sound like it.
Because it's like, dude, all I'm asking you to do is let me in this lounge. I even appreciate the upsell. Congratulations, you're doing your job great. When you start insulting my intelligence and saying that I don't know what I'm talking about and I have my lounges and airlines mixed up, how stupid do you think I am?
And then slapping your feet.
She didn't slap it, she tapped it. If she'd have slapped it, I'd have lost my mind.
Tapped your feet with her hand.
With her hand. Ma'am? She was so loud. You can't lay down here. I was like, woke up like crazy-eyed. I was
So
like,
not
"Excuse
only
me?"
so she's not stuck behind that desk, that welcome desk. She's doing laps
Here's the thing.
to make sure that people are.
No, to make sure that I wasn't, because every other moment she was behind that desk. I was like, she saw me laying down and she came over here to say something.
Oh, so she.
But the other
just-
people sleeping weren't laying down. They were just sitting up.
They were lounged almost exactly the same way that I was. And you know what? I was so mad that I went on United's website and I looked up the lounge access. And there is a thing that says you have to have proper attire and you can't put your feet on the furniture. So I
What's
was
the
like,
proper attire?
well, everybody was in sweatpants, so I don't know what the proper attire is. But it said right on it, like, you're not supposed to have your feet up on the furniture. You're like, you can be removed at any point for not having the right.
But other people were.
But other people were. And I pointed
So
the
they're
guy
trying to pretend
directly
it's fancy.
directly across from me. I said, he's sleeping. Yeah, well,
But
he's
did he have his
sleeping.
feet up?
He was sleeping sitting up, but he had his feet on like a ottoman type thing.
And
Well,
where
an
were your
ottoman is
feet?
for feet. Where were your feet?
My feet were on the bench next to me. They're
Oh, you
one-person benches.
But
No
you were,
one else
but-
could have sat
but you
there.
were so you were draped over 2 pieces of furniture.
No, I was not. The other guy was. The other guy was seated in a chair with his feet up on an ottoman sleeping. I was in a one-person, like, they're kind of like stalls almost. Like, they're made so that you can only fit there. And I sat to the side and put my feet up, rested my head back, and I got in trouble.
So
Your
how
feet
did this
were on the
whole
seat.
how did this whole situation resolve itself?
She walked away, and I didn't say anything. What am I going to do? I sent the email to United.
Did you sign it? A perturbed customer.
Well, I was like,
You've lost me as a constituent.
I'm annoyed that she acknowledged, hey, you fly with United a lot. Look at all your points. Look at all your status. She didn't say thank you. She didn't say welcome to the lounge. She said, you've got problems. You don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
and
yeah,
if
it's not
you
like
just
she gets.
listen
It's not
to
like
me,
she gets paid more if you're a lounge member.
But like Cody said,
Doesn't
she
do
probably
her any
makes a
good.
commission off of it.
If you
Worst
sign up.
salesperson ever.
Yeah, and then if you didn't sign up, then she's not making a commission. So
Yeah,
she's
like,
like,
screw
"Ooh,
you, bitch. You're going to have a
this
hard
is-
time here.
Yep.
So
She
aggravating.
doesn't want you back.
I don't want to go back after that.
Can't believe you didn't get her name.
I was
Caught
too
up
mad.
and had a different name. Just
What'd
like,
you eat at the buffet?
Wow.
I had scrambled eggs. I had potatoes. I had oatmeal. I had, what this is when Alan's going to pop in like, you had all that for breakfast. I had
I didn't say anything.
sausage. I had
Why
fruit.
am I on the?
I had, because now I'm mad. Now I'm all riled up and I'm going to take it out on you guys.
Oh, okay. I mean,
I had chia pudding. I had a little bit of everything.
you had all that for breakfast?
See? I knew it was coming.
Is it because you're on your period?
Sure sounds like it. The way you were talking to probably Nancy.
Maybe they synced up.
Yeah. Me and Nancy were both ovulating.
Mm-hmm.
And probably that lady who was kicking people out of their own seats. We're all on our period, and that's the problem with women and why we can't ever be the president. She's got the nuclear codes.
How
What's gonna happen?
many people were in the lounge?
It was not crowded.
Well, that's kind of my question is you probably were at a disadvantage. You would have benefited if there had been more people in there.
It was, yeah, because she would have been busier.
Yes.
It was not, it was honestly pretty empty. It wasn't very crowded. But
Was she also, I assume that they had like, they had Aramark people doing the
Yes.
food. She wasn't in charge of the food,
No, she's
too.
not like behind the buffet.
The
No, nothing
Jane
like
of all
that.
trades, right?
And they had, because they also have
She's
people.
working the waffle maker and screaming at Mary.
They also have people like cleaning up. There's different people who come by and bust the tables and things like that. So she was literally, I think her job was just the front desk. And then she left her post.
She's
to come
looking
make a
for
point.
reasons to exert her influence over you.
Right.
You plebes.
Yes.
Or as you
No,
call
just
people,
me.
vermin. To her, you were vermin.
And that's fine with
How does it feel, Mary, when the tapped shoe is on the other foot?
I'm not walking around waking people up, telling them they don't know what they're talking about.
Been funny if she would have tapped you. Ma'am? What? You still don't know what you're talking about. And then she just walked away.
She pulls up Amex's website. She's like, actually, you get bonus points if you fly Delta. So,
Yeah, that's right. Wow.
yeah, I was very aggravated. And then I came straight in here.
Tales of the 1%,
It was-
Bill. Boy, I tell you
I know,
what,
you-
I cannot identify with this.
You're
I'll
a
take your-
millionaire and you can't even identify with
I'm
this.
not a shut up.
So annoying.
I will. I don't get that at all, but I'll take your word for it.
Listen, with great fame comes great responsibility, okay?
Uncle Ben said it.
You know.
Was it the Polaris Lounge?
No, the Polaris Lounge is only for international travel.
Okay.
It was the Gate
I'm
C10
trying to-
United Lounge at
I'm trying to-
Chicago O'Hare.
Okay, I think I found a picture of
This lady
it.
with dark hair and glasses.
So I'm not trying to find her. I'm just trying to look at the.
He's
The-
looking at these staff,
Oh, I'm looking-
like they're gonna have headshots.
I'm
on
looking
the
at the
website.
chairs that they have.
It's so there's like benches lined all the way against the wall, like padded benches, but they're set up like probably the width of this, maybe a little bit bigger. They're maybe, I don't know how long my legs are, 3 feet. And then there's 2 little nubs, like armrests.
Still talking about your feet?
Yes, my 2 little nub feet. santortos@gmail.com. No, there's like 2 little armrests about every 3 or 4 feet. So I was seated foot to butt. We're both touching the armrest.
Mm.
Like a love seat, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they had a problem with. 'cause
that
their
she
feet-
had a problem
feet
with my
were
feet being
being
on the
the
bench,
seat. Yeah.
not an ottoman.
Right.
Because the guy across from me was seated up with his feet on an ottoman, and that's okay.
He knows what's up. He had already been
Apparently.
yelled at by her. Did he give you a knowing look like he had a bitch?
No,
got
he
you
was.
too?
I was sound asleep. I was the one who was woken up. My slumber was disturbed.
Mhm.
What?
I imagine you telling this story to you when you were still a bartender, and you rolling your eyes at like
when my bank account was
okay,
negative
yeah.
$34, and I was
Like
on
yeah,
cocaine.
and you're just like nodding along because you're like I just want a good tip.
Right, this
You're like,
stupid
yeah.
dude.
You're like I don't really travel that much, but like that sounds terrible. Yeah, I just-
Oh, what a reversal of fortune.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break here. If you are a fan of Stavros Halkias, comedian who's coming through to do Playhouse Square, the Fat Rascal Tour, I'll get you a couple of tickets for that. Another $1,000, by the way. Keep in mind those keywords are coming fast and furious, courtesy of the Buzzard bookies. That's on the way around 4:30.
It's the Alan Cox Show. Everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app or whatever smart.